Let's see if trying to get the audio to work. Okay, testing. Can you hear me now? All right, folks. Yeah, I got some feedback from the chat room that my microphone was not coming through for a minute. This has happened before, and yes, I have to reset it sometimes. The joys of live broadcasting. But if you missed the first part, yes, this is Zimmer broadcasting live from Lexington, Kentucky for the Star Chamber Show live podcast. And we got a great guest coming for your night, one that I'm personally very excited about. And of course, the vivacious, loquacious, and audacious Holly Phillippe will be joining me in just a few minutes. And she's just running a little bit behind, but no worries. She will be here, folks. Don't worry. Looks like the audio is working good. Thank you. Thank you for the feedback. Yes, the chat room helps me out once in a while. Yes. And looks like the chat room is very active tonight. We have some great writers and creatives in there already. Award winners such as screenwriter, author Amy McCorkle. The great Sacco Toomey. And if you have not listened to that episode, that was a great one that we had with Sacco recently. So be sure to check that out. Of course, Sacco and the Moon podcast, and of course, all the great artwork. And of course, yes, the new music that we're looking forward to from Sacco. And of course, award-winning writer and screenwriter and extraordinaire Carol Preflattish, who, by the way, just got an email from me. Yes, because we have a new book coming out from Carol right at the end, toward the end of later part of June, because it's going to be timed. So it's out for Imaginarium. So more on that shortly. But yes, we're really looking forward to that. And then also we have LJ Mack in the house, and tonight's guest is in the chat room. But I'm gonna wait on that one, because I always like to give a good introduction of our guests. So hopefully everybody's doing great. And yes, as always, we take questions and comments from the chat room. So we'll be getting into that in just a moment. But as the Imaginarium Convention is what this podcast is affiliated with, we always want to give you the latest news and information on updates and all that kind of good stuff. The panel surveys did go out to all of our guests and panelists last night. We've already got over 100 filled out forms in response. So yes, most of you are getting them. If you did not see one for some reason, if it didn't get delivered to your inbox or your spam filter, picked it up, be sure to get a hold of Holly, because yes, the surveys were sent out yesterday, and yeah, we got a ton of them back already. And yes, it's definitely underway as far as the panel assignments and all that good stuff goes. And also wanted to update you that we passed the late deadline for the film festival. And so that is closed for entries now. And yes, we got a lot more entries in our late deadline period than we anticipated. So there was an outside hope before that we might be able to announce the rest of the official selections tonight, possibly the screenplay finalists. But that is going to take a few more days. We will get it in by the notification date by the 10th for sure. But it may take a couple more days to get all that figured out. And so, yes, we got quite a few more entries in that late period than we thought. So great. It's going to be such a good field, both in the screenplays and in the visual projects. I mean, just every year it takes another step forward, and this year is going to be no exception. And so that is the latest on the film festival. And so then we've also got, of course, some new spotlighted guests that we want to share with you, some big ones. And then we also have two new workshops that we just added today, and they're both really, really good ones. One is Build It, and they will come launching an author platform that attracts readers. And this is from Ed Downs, and Ed just had his debut novel come out, but he is a marketing wizard when it comes to media and social media platforms and things like that. And so this is going to be a great workshop if you're interested in building a strong platform. And he's going to cover foundational elements of a compelling author website, how to grow, engage a reader list, how to automate, how how to use automation and tools to stay visible when writing, cost-effective advertising strategies, and going over the platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Amazon, time-saving content strategies for social media, and a take-home author platform, a launch plan with key actions and templates. So yes, I want to give you all that because I think everybody listening, would find value in that workshop for sure. And then also a great workshop coming is going to be presented by Chad Elliott, and that's Heavy Doc, using timelines to tighten plot. And it's all about how you can you create a visual timeline to help you keep track of events in your story and how to use it to craft a tighter plot. So definitely check that out as well. Those are two new additions to our workshops. Now, we had some really big news for the film festival side and for Imaginarium with Green Apple Entertainment participating with us. And they are sending physically award-winning editor Jonathan Nosp, who's their director of post-production, and he's going to be coming. He's got over 20 years of experience in the industry. He's an Emmy Award winner. He's phenomenal, and he's going to be coming in for 2 days of Imaginarium and participating in our panel and workshop programming. And then we also have distribution and production executive Roxanne Warren coming as a spotlighted virtual guest, and she will be taking individual appointments with filmmakers and screenwriters who are seeking distribution or just would like to talk to a distribution executive to ask questions and learn some things about that process. So whether you want to get a little mentoring or whether you are seeking distribution or partnerships, she will be taking private appointments, I think, on both Friday and Sunday. And then we are going to have a special video conference set up for those of you that have these appointments that are going to be hosted on site at Imaginarium. So yes, you'll be participating with Imaginarium attendees through video conferencing to go over all that kind of good stuff with you. But that is a great opportunity, not one that you're going to want to miss. And then we also today announced award-winning actor, filmmaker, author, screenwriter, artist, and model Kayla Perkins as a spotlighted guest. And she's awesome. And I've actually known her and her mother for a long time, and really glad that we finally got her to join us at Imaginarium as a guest. But yeah, she's had appearances on like the Travel Channel, the series Nashville, many feature films. And she was a former junior Miss Kentucky, and just done a lot of stuff. Even has co-authored a book with her son, a children's book that tells his story and shows kids living with juvenile idiopathic arthritis that they are not alone. So yes, definitely a lot of stuff. A great creative, and excited to have Kayla joining us. So that I think that brings you up to date as far as the new guests and panelists. And Holly, again, should be joining me any second now, but I'm going to go ahead and recognize the folks that brought you tonight's show, and that's Sandy Lender, the genre blender herself, and then also we have Per Bastet Publications, which is, of course, a great small press. It's based out of the Louisville area. So I'll give you a little bit about Sandy first, and then we'll go over and give you a little bit about Per Bastet, and then we will go to our guest of the evening. So yeah, check this out. Yeah, Sandy is just awesome. And let me tell you, I can vouch for the book that's in this spot. It is absolutely excellent. If you don't have it already, pick it up.
Are you a creative person working a 9-to-5 job to survive? Let's look at how to keep your energy and joy alive with the new motivational business book, Capture Your Dream, from author Sandy Lender. In Capture Your Dream, Sandy offers stories, lessons, inspiration, SWOT analysis, goal stacking strategies, and more to help you map your plan to achieve a dream job or side hustle. As a creative herself, Sandy knows it takes compromise and commitment to keep the day job to survive while chasing the dream to thrive. Assess your dragon score. Learn more about Capture Your Dream at AuthorSandyLender.com.
And thank you, as always, Sandy. And yes, always great to have a Sandy Lender spot on the show. I love it. I always love hearing your voice. And yes, I've been known to call her. Yeah, with Holly and I've been known to call her during the week, definitely, because it's always an uplift when you speak with Sandy. And so, yes, and now I'm going to, let's see, I'm trying to see where Holly is. Yeah, she should be coming in here any second now. So let me check with that in just a moment, please, and then we'll get you over to some information as far as our other sponsor of the evening. That's Per Bostet Entertainment, or Entertainment Per Bostet Publications. You'd think I'd get that right by now. Yeah, my computer is giving me a few fits here, but we're working through it. And let's see here. Give me just a moment here, and I will be able to give you a little bit of stuff on Per Bostet and give you that coverage here. But yeah, just trying to get a measure. Hoping that Holly is not having any kind of technical difficulties tonight, folks. Yeah, because Holly definitely was wanting to be on this show in a big way with tonight's guest. And so, yes, I know I'm building up a little bit of the suspense here, but yes, live shows are always an adventure. But as far as Per Bostet, Per Bostet Publications is a small press based in the Louisville metro area, specializing in speculative fiction and other outside-the-box books. With 40 titles in print and ebook formats and a handful of audiobooks, Per Bostet offers a little bit of everything. Check out Frenemies in Space, Marian Allen's new science fiction short story collection featuring return character Smart Mouth Connie Phelan, or try Michael Dabney's latest David Blaze mystery, A Deadly Game, a prequel set in 1984 Philly. You can find these titles and more at perbostetpublications.com, at Amazon, or you can find the press in person at Kentucky and Indiana book fairs and conventions. Per Bostet Publications, where timeless tales unfold. So thank you to Teely Harris, Sarah Marian, and Marian Allen, the literary trio, or literary trifecta, literary triumvirate, however you would like to term it. And it looks like Holly is here. Yes, there you are.
I am here. I am here.
I had paused. I was just getting over there to message you, and then all of a sudden you popped on. So good deal, because I wanted to give you at least a minute or two. I did my best, because since you weren't here yet, I did my best to tell people what's happening with the panel surveys that they went out. That we got back over 100 already, and if they
Yep.
did not see their email, to make sure they get in touch with you. But is there
Check
anything else
spam.
you want to
Check
cover?
your spam folder before you get a hold of me because a lot of them have went to spam, and I've got some people, emailing me about workshops and stuff too. I am like, full right now. It's a little late in the game, but I have so many people come to me with these great ideas, and I'd love to give everybody, their chance to do a workshop, but that's not possible to give everyone. But I do have a waiting list, and know that I see you, especially if you've roundabout come back to me and gave me an email that you really, really would like to do this. And it's something that I could see that would really be beneficial. Yes, definitely. So know that you are seen and heard, and if I get any last minute cancellations or anything like that, or somebody gets ill, or just life happens, then yeah, I will be sure to get a hold of you and get you plugged in. But for now, I'm pretty much booked up.
Yeah, it's
and
packed.
and we will I will have more surveys coming out. So I know I'm going to get tons of emails if I don't say something. um we are doing author readings on Sunday afternoon. I'm not doing them all the way up until 6 o'clock though, because that just did not work out last year, and I want people to go to the vendor hall before they we end. So I'm trying to end everything a little earlier so people will at least get to the vendor hall, for last minute purchases. Um, because they might have heard somebody speak or talk, on a subject they liked, or it was the genre they love, and they want to go get their book. So, with that being said, I will be sending out author readings. Now, remember, there's only a small block, so hey, it's one, first come, first serve. So whoever gets them in the fastest, that's pretty much who'll be on it, except for my guest of honor and everything. I have to give them you know first rights to see if they would like to do it. But I will be sending those out. I will be sending sign-ups for time to sit down with the distributors from Green Apple, Roxanne and Jonathan. Um, I will be taking signups for those. I will be taking signups for um, talking to the literary agent, Cherry Weiner. She's going to take appointments. So I will have signups for those also. So I will make all these forms and get them all out in another email here, probably a couple within the next couple weeks. So be looking out for those. But yeah, if you haven't seen the panel survey form, please check your spam. If it ain't in your spam, let me know. I did get over 100 back just in less than 24 hours, so I knew they went out okay. And on the panel survey form itself, I did include the link for people to go look on the website at all the descriptions. All the descriptions are on the website, and that way you could see exactly what the panel is going to be about.
All right. All right, Holly. We need to get now to our guest. I will say a quick shout out, Devin Hilton. The Rapture at Silver Coin trailer dropped today. I saw that in the chat room, and that, of course, is going to be making a premiere at Imaginarium. It is a cool audio movie play. I want to get the exact term of it right. Yes, it's all audio, but yes, it's like an audio movie. So that's coming out at Imaginarium. It will be premiering, but the trailer dropped today, and the man himself, Devin Hilton, let us know that. So yes. All right. Now it's time for our guest tonight. And our guest tonight is coming on to the Star Chamber show for the very first time. And yes, he has been to Imaginarium a few times, including winning the Imadjinn Award for Best Young Adult Novel in 2024. He is an author of fairy tales and folklore and horror and psychological thrillers and almost everything in between. And he will be at Imaginarium this summer for you to meet in person. And so it is my honor and pleasure to welcome onto the show for the first time the one and only KB Carlisle. And yes, you are on.
Hey, how's it going?
Going good.
Hey,
Good to hear you.
Yeah, man. I'm glad I made it home in time. I've been working outside all day, so if I sneeze or cough, I apologize. But trying to gather some extra money for conventions this summer. You know what I mean?
I
there
know
you
how
go.
that goes. we're doing the same. Yeah, but we are on a Carolina streak lately because of course we recently had of course Barbara Evers on, and now here you are. So yes, we're on a Carolinas theme on the Star Chamber show, which is pretty cool.
Oh
But
yeah, I just moved from upstate. Where I lived pretty close to her and HP and Jacob Hollow and everything, and I moved back down to the swamplands and opportunity came up to buy a house. I couldn't turn it down, so I had to pack up and leave.
Well, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
seize
if you get that
opportunity.
opportunity in this
Yes,
market, yeah, you
Oh
take it.
yeah. But
yes.
it's thrown life into chaos, and I was planning to be done with the first book of my next series by now, and I've barely hit the quarter way mark. So,
Well,
um,
life
mhm.
happens,
Oh
and it
yeah,
seems to, put us in those situations. Well, could you tell everybody what this currently the one you're working on, what the premise is, what it's about?
um, it's actually based on a game that a buddy of mine's been working on for about 10 years, and he's always said that he wanted to write, novels about it. And then after I finished the Emergent series, he was like, "Do you have anything planned?" I was like, "I have a lot of ideas, but what you got?" And he was like, "I really want you to write Arashina novels." And I was like, "I was hoping you would ask me that because I've been wanting to do it, but I didn't want to just insert myself. Like, here, let me take over your world." But no, it's an action adventure fantasy with some comedy, and it's so far it's been really fun to write. This is the first novel I've ever actually outlined, so
Hmm.
that was a change. um, but it's what's the best way to describe it? It's like D&D if it was a novel, but not in the
Nice.
D&D world. It's
Right.
more you know creatures instead of humans, and it's hard to explain. It's so much. I literally have my entire wall around my desk is full of post-it notes just from the
Nice.
notes that he's given me to, you have to put this in the books, you have to put this in the books, and I was like, yeah, you're right, I do. So just keep them coming. And
So, so you have an old school setup. You got the classic Post-it notes on all around.
oh man, if
Nice.
I don't have everything color coded and in front of me, I
Yeah.
don't know what I'm doing. So
Yeah. Very
I have a
cool.
cork board, I have post-it notes. I have gotten yelled at for making notes on my wall when I couldn't find a post-it note. Uh yeah.
Wow.
But
Well, that's me. I tell you, if I don't write it down, it's gone. It's gone. So yeah,
mhm.
Oh
I've
yeah.
moved on to the next thought, you know. So yeah,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
all about the posty notes and leaving myself digital
Yeah.
notes.
But
Hmm.
that's why I love writing on Scrivener so much, because it has the cork board on
Yeah,
that, and I could just look at it and be like, okay, I know what I'm talking about now.
there
Yeah,
you go.
I use well, not when writing, but when doing all my other stuff. I always keep a digital the notepad app on my PC open all the time, just and just writing down everything as I'm coming in, just to keep on track. So I do know how that works. Yeah, definitely.
But
But
the
you
first
she
book
said
in
you
that series, oh, go ahead.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, you had said that it's you're writing in another world, and so you are getting information from on this world. And I'd like to go into can you describe the world that it's already set in, and what's already been established in this world, as far as like, is it a large number of books already out about in
Oh
that set in
no,
that world, or anything like that, or
there's a Discord server that we created for notes,
Mhm.
that me and him can share, and the series itself is called Legends of Ereshkigal, and
Legends of Ereshkigal? Okay,
it started, it kind of evolved, like I said, from our D&D games, but we were like, you know what, we want something different. You know, we want the same experience. So, you know, it was him and me, a group of our friends. We just started making small changes, and those small changes led to big changes. And 10 years later, it's a completely different game. So, you know, he's trying to turn it into a real game. He's trying to get it made, and he wants to release a book series alongside it. And I'm happy to help, and I'm really excited about it, because there's so much lore that he's already written that I could write Arashina the rest of my career and never run out of material. So
very cool. Yeah.
I do have another side project I'm trying to start, but I'm focused on Arashina right now. The other one's a sci-fi called The History of Time According to Annie. And that is just pure sci-fi comedy, goofy, Rick and Morty meets Doctor Who kind of stuff.
Oh, cool. That sounds very cool. Yeah, it sounds like, yeah, that'll have some cross appeal too.
Oh yeah, that's what I
But
hope for anyway.
no, Holly and I have definitely indulged in Rick and Morty episodes for sure. I used to be a little more up on Doctor Who back in the day. I have
Yeah, I
not
did
kept up with
too.
it as much in recent seasons, but talking about a combo of those kind of things as kind of like a reference, I mean, that definitely intrigues me for sure. That sounds really cool.
Oh
But
yeah.
then as far as the what style of humor do you have? Because you mentioned humor a few times. What kind of humor do you like working into your
Um,
or style or kind of what kind of humor
I
do you like
don't
working
know if
on
it would
things?
call. I mean, dad jokes.
Dad jokes.
Those are the best.
Hey,
The
those are some of the
corny dad
best.
jokes. Yeah,
Yeah, the puns are the
Steven's.
best.
I was going to say Steven's really, really good at those.
Well, you're gonna
Yeah, when it
love
comes to
both of these
puns,
series.
bad puns too.
Yeah, I'd say
Yeah,
yeah, he'll love the books.
yeah, yeah. I usually get in trouble around the house for my humor.
But no, with like
That's
with the emergence, you know, I tried to slide some humor in there. It was young adult series. I wanted it to be funny and fast paced, but I also wanted it to be relatable, because the emergence, you know, it started as bedtime stories for my kids. That's where most of the characters came from. I would make up characters. They had these powers. My kids loved them. And I actually started writing because I got hurt at work. I almost broke my back. And I got bored, and I guess I was driving my wife crazy. And she said, "Why don't you write down that story?" And I did. I went to studying days, and you know, somebody showed interest, and so I sent them a sample, and then it just kind of, the ball started rolling. I was not prepared for this at all. And it just kind of like, I love that my life took this direction, but I wish I would have planned a little bit better.
Yeah, it's something when those characters and things get to talking to you, and you just have to get them out. You just have to get them out of your head.
Oh yeah, and they constantly in my head. I'll be having conversations with real people and then just kind of zone out. Like, what's going on? Nothing. Thinking about something for the next scene. Like, leave me. But
So what did you read a lot like well, did you play a lot of the games when you were younger? Were you a gamer and read like the in the universes of certain games? Because I know some did come out. I know Halo did years ago. They come out with a book series.
the games that probably inspired my early stories the most, the ones that will never see the light of day, um,
Yeah.
are the Legend of Zelda series and the
Oh yeah.
Fable series. I was hooked on both of those. Um, and I read. My mom would take me to work when I was a kid, during summer and stuff, and I would sit in the book section and I would just consume everything. And I landed on the Animorphs series, and
Oh
that
yeah.
that that got me hooked. I was like, okay, sci-fi droids, let's go.
Yes. I one
And
of my sons loved that series. It's cool.
I never
Yeah.
got to read like the last three books. I don't remember what was happening in life, but I didn't get to read the end of it.
And
And
there's so many.
there's like, I think, 54 of the numbered
Yeah.
series, and I can't find the last three anywhere when I have money. And when I don't have money, it's like, oh, the whole series is on sale. I was like, okay.
Well, there's a stack of them still sitting at my parents' house. So, yeah, I'll have to look and see what those last 3 were when I go back up to my mom's to visit. I'll be like, "Hey, KB, I found those." Because there's a huge stack that she has still at her house. So,
I
I
have
need to go through
one.
them.
I
Yeah.
have my mom found it and bought it for me for Christmas last year because she knew I told her I was, trying to start to collect the whole series,
Yeah.
and she bought me the Visitor Chronicles, and I was like, yes, that's a start. Let's do it. But
That's awesome.
no, what got me into writing fantasy was the Inkheart series.
Oh,
Um,
Hmm.
yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I wrote poetry when I was younger. I won a contest and I got published in the Atlanta Review
Nice.
in second or third grade. I never wanted to tackle the task of writing a novel when I was younger. But I read Inkheart, and then what was it? Ink Spell and then Ink Death when it first came out, and
Yeah.
I was like, I want to do this. And so I have when Rose came out, my mom brought a box up from her store shed, and it was all of my stories, songs, poems, everything I wrote in high school and college, all in one giant box.
Wow.
And I picked up the top one, and this is right after I got done writing Gemini. Um, I picked up the top one, and the first little short story in it was called "A Semblance of Eden." And I don't know if you've had a chance to read Gemini yet, but there's a town in it called New Eden that is a very important town for the story. And I was like, man, I wrote this town in seventh grade and then forgot about it until now.
Wow. That's
Yeah, it was the same
cool.
exact type of person running it, the same exact type of town. And I was like, well,
Nice. It was like just staying dormant back there in your subconscious, and then something, boop, it's
yeah, because
fired it up again.
some of my beta readers, well, beta, alpha, I don't know what you call them. I send them a chapter at a time. And they were like, you need to just take that town out. That town is pointless. I was like, that town is the story. Like it's
Right.
important for the third book too. So can't
Yeah.
take the town out. And then I found out, I was like, that's serendipity almost. Like it's just,
Well,
tells me it
that's
was
true.
supposed to be there.
Well, location is sometimes, as important well, it is as important as characters, location is character too.
Yeah, sometimes
So,
a
yeah,
location becomes a character, or it
that's
almost
true.
acts as a character. Yeah,
Yep.
and a lot of series is yeah, character can take on that setting kind of thing too.
Well,
So yeah,
I do that. I have albums that I'll put on on my phone or my laptop or something, like with Rose, I had nothing but pictures of like Charleston because a large portion of Rose takes place at the Battery, and I'll play music from the area. Every book I write has its own theme song. I listen to the theme song before I start writing to get my head in the right space. And
Very cool.
Nice.
Oh, I get
so,
that. Yeah, definitely.
yeah, it's but
Definitely.
I like to put myself in the location. I like to be visual. I like to hear everything and surround myself with what I'm trying to write.
Hmm.
So, if they walk in here and they hear Viking metal going on, and
Nice.
Yes.
they
Yes.
know that something bad is happening in the book.
Sweet. Yeah,
Like
when the old
somebody's dying.
yeah, when the Amon Amarth album is playing, somebody is dying.
Oh yeah.
That's
Oh, I
awesome.
could, yeah, I do that with, I could pretty
Yeah.
much judge when Steven's in his writing room when he's writing a fight scene, or
Mhm.
yeah, I can pretty much tell by what the music is coming out of there.
Yep. That's what I'm
Yep.
saying. I understand KB. Yeah, it's definitely I get
You got to
it.
get yourself in the right headspace. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you do. Hmm.
There it is. There it is. I can't imagine writing to metal. When I write, I have to write to my, like Steven calls it, jellyfish music. But
No, no,
yeah,
not quite. I've explained it once before, but KB has never heard me talk about the what I call the sea ray music.
the
But it's
sea ray music. Yes.
when you go to an aquarium and you go to the exhibit that has sea rays in it, you will
Oh
hear
yeah, you
this
were
kind of
talking about it last week. I remember.
yeah, they
Yeah,
will
yeah,
play
yeah.
this
Yeah, yeah,
music.
you starts the sea ray
Yeah,
music.
that's it.
Yeah, you never know
That's
what
what it
I'm
is.
listening to.
Yeah,
That's what said. My brain is so chaotic. It
yeah,
may be Viking metal because I do listen to Viking radio stations on YouTube. There's this one
yeah.
called
Well,
Fimball
you listen to
Radio.
Norwegian
Love it.
folk music all the time.
I
Yeah,
do. I love
yeah,
Norwegian folk music. Love it.
Oh
yeah.
man,
So
ever since Nintendo music came out, it's been a pretty constant loop of just every Zelda game's soundtrack.
Mm,
So
nice.
nice,
if
nice.
you get a feeling of Hyrule in the Arashina series, there's probably a reason.
Very cool.
Inspiration.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's some good stuff. Yeah,
I
I'm
love it.
familiar
I
with
love
that
it.
too.
So do you have like a writing routine? I mean, do you write like at the same time every day, or what's your routine like?
I try to get up in the morning and write. That's when I'm the most productive. That's when I feel like I write my best, that's I'm at 100% first
Hmm.
thing in the morning. Go make me a cup of coffee, you know, grab a biscuit, waffle, something. Um, listen to the theme song for the book and
Hmm.
then begin writing. But especially during summertime now, kids are home all day.
Yeah.
That rarely works. So my early morning generally turns into early morning, and I start writing after everybody goes to sleep, and then I'll
Hmm.
sleep about 3 hours, and then we have movie time, and during movie time I take a nap.
Yeah. There you go.
Very cool.
We got 3 teenage grandchildren here, so but they like to sleep in the summer, so yeah, it's
Yeah.
blissful, blissful.
Well,
I
my s-
remember the days of the little ones.
my son works a lot, and now this summer he's working during
Yeah.
the day, and my daughter is 9, and she actually has a graphic novel that she started, and
Wow.
so she's been pretty good about just sitting in here and working with me. She'll ask me, how do I do this, and what's the right way
Hmm.
for me to lay this out, and I have to tell her honestly, like, I've read a lot of comic books and graphic novels. I've never tried to
Hmm.
write one. It's like all you can
Hmm.
do is make it, and then we can fix it later. I was like, you can't edit a blank page. It's
Right.
Hmm.
like, do what you're doing, and we'll fix it later. And okay. And she
Right.
just keeps
Yep.
on. She does not believe in writer's block at all. She'll get frustrated with it sometimes, and
Hmm.
she sees me do it, and she's heard me and a couple of my friends talking about it. When you get writer's block, you just keep on writing, and you will work your way through it. And
Right.
if you write something terrible during that time, you can go back and fix it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Or use it for something else at a later date. It
Oh
may come
yeah.
in handy down the road. That's why I tell people it don't have to pertain to what you're currently working on. Just write. If you get stuck, just write, something, anything. Write a poem. Write about how you're feeling,
Hmm.
That-
diary, or
That's why I'm
just
working on
write
three
something.
books at the same time right now, because if I get
There
stuck,
you
I'll
go.
just move. I'm working
Yep.
on the other thing I'm working on is something that I was told I was going to write, or people were going to get very mad at me.
Uh
But
oh.
it's
Oh,
called
tell
it's
us.
it's called Tales of the Emergence. It's short stories based on some of the minor characters in the Emergent series that didn't get
Nice.
their time in the spotlight because the whole series is about Rose and her family.
Right.
Um,
Mhm.
so I'm working on short stories for that. I'm thinking about publishing them one at a time and then making them cheap and then doing a collection people can buy if they want it when I'm done. But that's a
Mhm.
side project I'm working on as well. So I won't put out anything for a year and then I have three books come out at the same time. You know what I
Well,
Well,
hey,
that's okay.
yeah,
mean?
that's perfectly fine. And yeah, I think that's a cool idea doing a collection that gives additional content
Yeah,
for the
because then
world.
you could constantly get out um, new titles,
Mhm.
and gives
That too.
people
Mhm.
something to keep their brain attached to your story. Be like,
One of the
here's another one, here's another one, here's another one. Then you come out with the collection.
one of the repeat emails that I frequently get is what happened at Niagara Falls? Because I mention it in every book and I
Uh huh.
just kind of skip around like we don't talk about that. And everybody's like, well, I have to know what happened. And I was like, all right, fine, I'll write that one first. That way everyone can calm down about that. But the messed up part is I didn't know what happened at Niagara Falls when I wrote that. I just threw a scene in there and it became a thing.
Keep them guessing. Keep them
Mhm.
guessing.
So I'm guessing had it too. I mean, not anymore. I figured it out now, but I didn't when I wrote it. I had no idea. It was just like a little throwaway thing. I never thought I'd mention again, and it turned
That's
into a
funny.
thing.
Yeah.
You just never know. You can't predict people. You just never know what's going to catch.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
they latched on to one character, in Rose, and it was a character that I introduced for the sole purpose of letting people know that characters in this series can die. And that was his whole
Mhm.
purpose. Like, this isn't going to be happy go lucky, or everybody's going to be dancing at the end type of thing.
Mhm.
And everybody that read it before I published it, everybody was like, I give them the ABCs, tell me, you know, what you like, what you don't like, what's boring, all that good stuff.
Mhm.
And that character, they were so mad that I don't want to say their name because people haven't read, if anybody haven't read it yet or anything, but they latched onto that character. They were hounding me like, I can't believe you did that. I was like, well, that's just the first. So
Mhm. Uh-oh, he's got a
Just
little that
hold them.
he's got that cruel George R. R. Martin streak.
Yeah, I was going to say,
You
yeah.
like this character? Well, just hold
well,
on.
Just
I
hold on to
I
your hats.
I finished my series, so
Yeah, yeah. Oh god,
Yeah,
yeah. Don't get
yeah.
me started on that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
He'll
god.
never get his done. Ain't no way.
Yeah, yeah.
everybody asked
Uh,
why I don't have any of the Game of Thrones books. I said, I was like, when I first started reading it, I said I'm not buying any until they're all out, and I didn't know
Yep.
what was going on at the time.
yeah.
And it was when the first season of the show came out. So I was getting them from the library. I was reading all the books, and I still to this day do not own one because I'm not going to buy them unless the whole series comes out.
Oh my god.
There you go.
Well, you
You
probably won't.
protest.
My guess is you won't be buying them, but
Well, I
Yeah,
mean
I
that's
guess
that's
based on
money
the
saved. You
progress.
know what I mean?
that's it. That's it.
I read the whole series for free, so
Right.
Shelf space that's saved.
I actually had the library down here. Just bought 10 copies of Rhodes to put into circulation in the Lexington libraries, and
Nice.
Nice.
that was really
Very good.
cool. Like we went to the start of the summer reading program down here, and they asked me if I had any on hand, and I was like, "Yeah, the start of convention season for me. I got booked.
Hmm.
Can I have 10 of the first one? Absolutely. Let's do this."
Sure can.
Hey, yeah. And that's a great way to get some circulation and get some readers in the
Yeah.
libraries. I highly
I have
recommend.
a
Just talking about library distribution before the show, as a matter of fact. Yeah, and
Yep.
the
and
libraries and ebook distribution. But yeah,
well,
that's cool.
another
Yeah.
one. I mean, this has been an interesting couple of weeks because that happened. Um, I don't want to say the name because it's nothing's official yet, but a, a well known bookstore. Um, has approached me asking if it'd be okay if they promoted my series and if I'd come in and do a book signing for them because they're trying to promote local authors. And I
Cool.
was
Super
like,
cool.
absolutely, but I just sold 10 of my books, so you have to give me some time to re up because I got to have something to take to conventions.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a
Otherwise,
good problem to have.
It really is, but it's like I said, I wasn't expecting all of this. Like last year, when Chris called me and told me that I was a finalist for the Imadjinn Award, I was like, I'm not
What?
gonna say what I said because I don't know if we can cuss on this show. But basically, I was like,
Well, I'm on
stop.
this show, so yeah, we can cuss on this show.
a little bit. Yeah, a
I was
little
like,
bit.
the gist of it was, stop messing with me. You're pulling my leg. He's like, no, dude. And he sent me the link, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, well, I guess I'm going again this year. Like, and it was awesome. I was, I met a lot of new people. I got to hang out with David Batterina, and we met each
Yeah.
other at LibertyCon the year before, and I got to meet all kinds of amazing people at Imaginarium last year. And I after we left, we were talking in the car, and we were like, "That's definitely every year we're going back." Like I had
Well,
so
good to
much
hear
fun,
it. Good to hear
That's
it.
good to hear. But
and
however, your
consider
adventure went a little farther in 2024. You said, "Oh, I'm a finalist," but it went a little bit farther than that, didn't
oh
it?
yeah, when y'all got to the young adult category when Michael was reading it, I my ears turned off. I just started eating. I didn't want to
Mhm.
hear it. I was like, "There's no way." And then both sides, I got attacked by David and my wife. Both sides, get up there. I was like, "What? Wait, what did they say?" I was not prepared.
Yeah.
I
I
didn't
was
have
like,
no speech
This
written.
is my first novel that has ever been published, and
Yeah.
it's a young adult novel at that. It was the very first young adult story I ever actually sat down and wrote, and
Mhm.
I was like, this was new territory for me. And then what?
Well,
It's
And
amazing
yeah. Well,
yeah,
you genuinely looked excited. I tell you, when yeah,
because
from that
I'll tell you,
perspective, yeah,
the entries we've had the past few years, I mean, the quality just keeps going bigger and bigger and bigger, bigger. So
yeah,
if you even make it as a
crazier and crazier.
finalist now, I mean,
Yeah,
you've
it's a
done
big deal.
very
Mhm.
well, much less
yeah.
winning it,
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah,
true.
kudos.
I read
Mhm.
the ones that I was up against, and that's why I was like, I didn't want to hear it because I was like, there's no way. And it was fun because
Well,
after the
that's why
award
we're
ceremony,
juried.
I was sitting over there
Yep.
playing, in the gaming tournament, and James walked up to me and handed me a copy of Trumpus and was like, "Congratulations!" And I was like, "Yeah, I have a copy of that."
It's a but that's like I said, that's why we're juried, because with us it's not about who's going to get the most popularity votes, or who's the
Right.
most well known.
Oh yeah.
It's just a matter of merit. Who's got the one that judges see as the best piece of work,
Oh, if it
and
was a
that's
popularity
it.
contest, I would
Yeah,
never win. I have
yeah,
actively avoided social media
yeah.
before I started writing, and I stayed in my little, cave with my computer and my Switch, and I either played Zelda or I wrote something that I thought nobody would ever read, and that was a drastic life change.
Well, it paid off. I mean, you're definitely motoring. I mean, you had the success with that, and then now you got 3 projects that are on the map while you're having bookstores contacting you and libraries buying your books. And I mean, it's obvious. Yeah, you're definitely taking some big
I mean,
strides here.
it sounds good when you say it like that. I know it is, but to me, it's just like it's still so fresh and so new compared to
Yeah,
what the 37 years of life before that. How different it is.
that's true. Yeah,
And
people.
Surreal.
Yeah,
I'll go out in town and people know me. And
Right.
I live back in my hometown now, so that's not weird. But when I was living upstate, I stayed in my house. I didn't talk to many people, and I'd go get a cup of coffee, and everybody's like, "Hey, you're that guy," and I was like, "What guy? You wrote that
yeah,
book?" I was like,
oh,
"What
yeah,
book?
What book?
Depends on which one you're talking about."
yeah, yeah. If they just said you're that
I think
guy,
you got the wrong
they'd be like,
guy. I don't know who you're
I'll be
talking
like, oh,
about. Yeah.
okay, I need more context here. I need more context. Okay, it's a book thing. Okay, good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Our little world, the book world, is quite an adventure, to say the
It's
least.
it's so much
Oh,
bigger than
geez.
I realized too.
Yeah,
I had no idea at the amount of just literary conventions at all. But
Mhm.
like
yeah,
I knew of one convention that came close to my house every year, and that was what do they call it? SC Comic Con. And I would go to
Mhm.
SC Comic Con. I would waste a lot of money, and I'd come home and I was like, "Yay, convention!"
right.
Mhm.
And then the first convention I went to besides that was Liberty Con,
That's a good
Ah,
one.
and
Yeah,
that
that's a
was
good
an
one. Mhm.
experience.
Mhm.
Not a
yeah,
bad experience. It's just like culture
Yeah.
shock. Like, wait a minute, this is a different type of convention. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
and that,
and then you come to Imaginarium.
yeah,
That's a whole different.
and see, that's another thing. When I came to Imaginarium, I was pretty much fresh out of the hospital, adjusting to life with diabetes,
Yeah,
and I almost died twice while writing Gemini. So I would when I found out Gemini was a finalist too, I was like, okay, I write good when I'm in the hospital. That works. Um, but
Well,
it
please don't get yourself put in the hospital to write books, though.
yeah,
You
Oh
know,
no,
no,
let's
no,
oh
make
no,
clear.
no. I walk 3 to 5 miles almost every day,
Yeah.
and
nice.
I've dropped
Nice.
almost 100 pounds
Yeah.
since then,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
I'm trying. I was like,
Congrats.
I got stuff to do now, so I
Yeah.
can't be getting sick.
I
Yeah.
got to hang around a little bit longer.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, but
So you did write while you were in the hospital.
yeah, I woke up in the hospital. My wife was sitting there, after we got everything straight, and they just wanted to watch me for a little while because they
Yeah,
had to check, my A1C and all that good stuff. And
right.
she was like, "What do you need?" I was like, "My laptop." Why? I was like, I need to write. I'm not done with Gemini. And
Wow.
yeah, I it slowed it down a little bit, but I still got it out in time, and apparently
Mhm.
I did all right with it. So,
She
Yep.
did very well. Very well.
Yep.
but
Absolutely. But yeah,
no,
but I admire you because in hospitals, it's yeah, you don't get much. I mean, you can't. It's hard to even get rest and food in a
Ah,
hospital.
yeah.
oh man, it was great though because every time I got a new nurse, I sold another copy of Rose. So I think
Oh,
there's
there
not
you
many
go.
copies, but it worked.
Ah, that's awesome.
I try to
Yeah.
take advantage of any situation, no matter how bad it is.
That's
That
right.
would
That's
be
right.
there. You go, Holly. There's a topic that's never been done before. A unique book marketing workshop where he could talk about how to sell to medical personnel
The
while in the
medical
hospital.
personnel, while you,
How to
hey,
sell books
you
to your gas
grift
station
where the,
clerk.
yeah, well,
Yeah,
you grift where the grifting is good, right? Right.
right.
You
Yeah,
always got to
exactly.
grift.
Yeah, the ethical grift. Yes,
The ethical grift. That's right.
right.
We're all about it.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
That is classic. Oh man, I could even think that needs to be in a movie or a TV series. Yeah, something
Oh,
like that.
that's great. Now next time, if I knock on wood, I don't have to anytime soon, but
Yeah,
my
let's
next
not.
surgery or
Yeah,
whatever, I will
yeah,
definitely have to take a copy of one of Stephen's big old Bibles that he writes and sit it up on a stand. And then when they come in,
yeah,
I'll be like, hey, that's my old man's big
yeah.
old book over there. Yeah.
Buy it.
Call K. You can call KB for some pointers. Get some
Yeah,
insight.
there you go. The art of the sale, the
The
closing of
art
the
of this.
deal.
Yeah, closing of the deal. Yeah,
Well,
nice.
I was not great at talking to people before. I've always been really quiet and reserved up
Yep.
until recently, and um, when I had to force myself to get out, start talking to people, start trying to learn how to promote myself. Yeah, but I had medical bills to
Yep.
pay. But so I don't know, something just flipped, and it came pretty naturally to me. I still I have those introvert moments where I'll get off of an interview or
Mm.
talking to somebody about a book or just anything even
Mm.
remotely related to writing. And then 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, why did you say that?
Yeah. Yep. But
Oh, Carol Preflattish just commented in the chat room. She's like, she got a good quote here you could use. Buy my book. I have medical bills to pay.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
But what
Oh,
Holly and
Lord.
I describe ourselves as is omniverts. It's like we have a
Yeah,
side of ours that yeah, we want to be reclusive and get our space. But then
yeah,
we have the other side where, we can turn it on when we need to and do the, media or the events or things like that. So, but yeah, we have to have that introvert space too. I mean, it's like we straddle the middle.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have
yeah.
to make sure. I think I'm going to take that word and use it for myself as well because like last year when I heard y'all were doing karaoke, I was like, I want to go, I want to go, I want to go, and then I passed out like 15 minutes before it started, and I slept through the entire. I woke up to see it posted on Facebook, and I was like, oh,
Well, this year we're doing the 90s, so you have to be there. We're
oh.
doing the
So my
90s karaoke.
let's say so my generation's music.
Yes, yes, your
I don't have to
generation.
learn. I don't have to learn words at all.
No, no.
I don't need that screen.
Yeah, there's most of the 90s, especially if it's alternative. I don't need a screen either because I know it word for word.
Oh, it'll be interesting if y'all actually get me to participate in that this year because I don't know if you can tell or not, but learning how to talk with new teeth at the moment, and they're about
Oh,
half the size of my old teeth,
yeah.
and I was like everything is different. I
You
put a little
sound great.
doctor. I
You
put a little
sound
Doctor Who. Well, I appreciate that because this.
Yeah.
I've been practicing, but I put a little meme of Doctor Who on there where he turned. It was the David Tennant era, and he's like, "New teeth. I don't like that." and,
oh.
Well, we have understood every word you've said
Yeah,
tonight.
it
So
does. It does make it different. I have
yeah.
a partial bottom plate, and when I usually take it out for the show for whatever reason, but everybody sees me with it, everywhere we go. So, but yeah, it does change your speech. I have noticed that.
oh yeah.
Anybody, it I think you notice it more yourself than
Mhm.
anybody else around you, but you're aware of it.
Oh, mine's a partial of the top front teeth.
Aha.
So if I go without it, everybody notices, and everybody will notice when I'm talking because I can't pronounce certain sounds.
Mhm.
Right. Right.
It's like I went to McDonald's. We were out shopping, and my daughter wanted to go to McDonald's the other day, and I was trying to give them the code, and I didn't have anything in it, so I was sitting there trying to tell them the code, and there was a five in it, and I couldn't say
Mhm.
five to save my life. I was like 382 and the number after four.
Here's
Well,
my fingers. Yeah.
right.
Read these.
Yeah, read these. Oh
Yeah,
man.
it's hard. I know. I got caps on my two front teeth, and it took me a while to get used to them because they are a little different than
Oh
your
yeah.
regular teeth, obviously. And so, yeah, it is a learning curve,
And y'all can tell I
especially
have a
with your
really
bite.
boring life, right? Because I'm sitting here talking about diabetes and teeth and like,
Well, now, no, that's our lives too. We get it. Hey, you know what? That gives us more time to think about other crazy things and write it down. See?
oh
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
it's fun. But I do love how you was talking about we was talking about introverts and omniverts and extroverts and most I'd say probably 97% of most authors are introverted or at least omnivert
Or
level.
lean that way. Yeah.
They lean
Omniverse or
that
lean
way
introvert. Yeah.
because
Mhm.
yeah, it seems if they're too extroverted, it's exhausting. They can only do it for so long, but and it scares to death, baby authors because, oh my gosh, I've put a book out there, and then they realize that's not the hard part. The hard part's selling that book.
oh
Mhm.
yeah.
So
Mhm.
See, that's what I
and that
didn't
hits you in
know.
the face.
But
Mhm.
fortunately, I made some good connections at all the conventions, and I've had people teaching me things, and
Yeah.
most importantly, telling me believe in yourself. You did this. This is
Mhm.
awesome. Like
Mhm.
um, be proud of it. And it's like even now, people talk to me about, oh, you're an author. And my wife would be like, award-winning author. I'm like,
Yes.
yeah,
That's right.
that.
That's
Yeah.
right.
But
that is
I
a
said
fact.
I'm
Yeah.
really crossing my fingers for that bestseller one day. You know what I mean? That's the one
Mhm.
I need.
Yes. Yeah. That's yeah. When you can put best selling award winning author on your title there. Yeah.
That best selling one really
Yeah.
it helps the wallet feel a little bit heavier. You know, I need that.
Oh, believe me. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, definitely. The indie life is not easy.
Oh no, no, but
Starving artist is a
but you know
thing.
what? It's fun. So
Yeah.
There it is. It is.
Oh yeah.
that's the important thing. It's fun.
It's
It's
a
like
labor of love. It's a
if you
labor of
don't
love.
if you don't have a good time writing it, nobody's going to have a good time reading it. So you got to
That's
make it as
exactly
fun as
right.
possible. You know what I mean?
That's
That's
exactly
true.
right. One
Or you
hundred
could be
percent.
like, J.D. Salinger and just write books that you never ever release that you just simply just keep in your closet at
Boredom
home.
away. I
Oh,
think that's so sad,
Yeah.
though.
I've actually
Yeah.
thought about pulling some of the stuff I started, you know, in
Yeah.
high school and college out and seeing if I can do something with it. But
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. Because
I
evidently
was
the city worked. The town
yeah,
worked.
that's why I was said it was you know so fortunate for me that that was on top because like look, this has been in here since you know you weren't any good at writing.
Right.
Um, so maybe you can do something with other stuff, but there is so much. I mean, it's like one of those giant, huge Rubbermaid tubs. You
Hmm.
know, it's got the lock-on lid,
Right.
and it's just stuff, but nothing's organized. It's all loose leaf papers shoved
Hmm.
in binders and scrap. Like it looks like Eminem's little book of rhymes that everybody makes fun of. Like two lines here, a paragraph here. It's all
Yeah.
written
Yeah.
diagonal and upside down, and just napkin. There was literally a napkin in there that had a poem written on it. And I was like, oh, I was
Mhm.
desperate that day. Of course, you know, I didn't have my cell phone to just type everything into. So
But sometimes I think early on your writing path, sometimes you get the ideas, but you just didn't have the chops yet to bring it out the right way or
Right.
tell the
yeah.
story right. So sometimes revisiting the ideas, at least, I mean, yeah, I mean, sometimes it might lead to something. Yeah,
Well,
taking a look
if
at
any of
that.
that stuff leads into anything, it will be in the History of Time series because sci-fi is what I attempted to write back then. Because, like I said, I loved Animorphs so much, I didn't really get into fantasy too much until
Hmm.
Ecart came out, and then I started finally reading The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, you know, all the
Cool.
other fantasy
Yeah.
stuff that people were like,
Right.
this is amazing. And I just never took the time for, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so, yeah, any of my old stuff, if you see some weird random stuff whenever the History of Time starts coming out, it probably came from my high school days.
Yeah. Some gems from the early days. Yeah.
Well, and you
Yeah.
mix it, you have a different. The thing about revisiting the old stuff is that you have a different take and view on things now from life experience.
Oh, yeah.
So you could put a whole new spin on an old idea and just take it to heights that you never would have,
I don't know. Some of the
10,
stuff
20
that's
years
in
ago.
the stories back then that, you know, was science fiction at the time has become
Yeah.
everyday things that we
For
use
everyday
now.
life.
So I'll
Mhm.
have to
Yeah.
update a little bit, but you know.
Yeah. That's just tweak
Yeah.
it,
Very true.
yeah, to your life experience. Yeah. That's
Or just
that
write it in
well,
a different time. You know what I mean? This is Earth
that's it.
2.0, like in their 90s.
That's it. That's it. That's like old, the Star Trek, because Star Trek episodes, you go back now and you're like, well, we're doing that now.
Yeah,
They
Hmm.
that's
predicted
real.
everything.
Quite a lot. Yeah.
We have FaceTime and smartwatches and all kind of cool things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
And eventually teleportation. They're working on it. Give it time.
Oh, I'm
Yeah. I'm
waiting
not.
on the green and blue chicks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm
Yes.
not going to try that teleportation till it's been done millions of times. So.
Oh yeah, I'm not first in line for that. I'm
Yeah.
on. It's just like when a new console comes out. I'm gonna let everybody else
Yeah.
test it out, get all the bugs out, and
Correct.
then I'll mess
Yep.
with it.
Then
Yeah.
I'll come in.
Yeah. I'm not eager to be the first to try new things
I
like
know. I,
that
I
out.
want to do teleportation so bad. And
Yeah.
Steven's like, no, you go first. I ain't going to do it.
Yeah. No.
I'll see you on the other
No,
side.
that's
Yeah.
what he says. He's like,
I've seen.
just
I've seen enough horror films where the reconstitution didn't work so well. Yeah. So
Oh
yeah,
man.
that's
that'd
too
be
good.
fun to play with. I don't
Mhm.
write sci-fi, but that'd be fun to
That's actually
really
kind
play with.
of a big premise of what I have. for the history of time right now is
Nice.
teleportation is a big thing, and teleportation not going the way people planned it
Uh-huh.
is a big thing. So
Yeah. That's
it
how
kind of,
most tech goes, right? At the
yeah,
beginning. Yeah. Yeah.
it's kind of like the inciting incident of the first book. It's
Uh-huh.
what kicks the series off. But I I could. Do you ever watch Dragon Ball Z?
Uh,
Yes. Yes, I
I
have.
could. I need a hyperbolic time chamber. I need a thing where I can go in
Oh,
there for a day, spend the, and it's a year to me. It's a day to everybody else. I might actually get all this stuff accomplished eventually, but
oh my God. I wish I could do that too. That would be phenomenal. Man, I could get imaginary programmed all in one day. Wow. That would be
right?
great. Instead
yeah.
of a whole year worth. Yeah.
Knock it out in a day, man.
Yes. Oh
Oh,
my
that'd be
gosh, I would rule the world by that point. I was gonna say I'd be ready to take on the world.
yeah.
That'd be awesome.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, so what do you got planned like next ahead of this series? Do you got something like on the back burner that you know you're going to start on right after this? Or you said you got a couple things going right now, but I mean, do you have
That's
something
right,
like on
that's
the
correct.
back burner that you're going to be like that's the next one I'm going to work on?
Well, see, Arashina covers that by itself because I have the Legend series that are going to be standalone books, but I
Mhm.
also have a series for a character that is going to follow. Right now, it's a trilogy. Who knows what's going to happen? But there's a character that's actually going to be like living in the world of Arashina, knowing the legends, knowing the history, and it's going to show what real life in Arashina is like versus what the legends of Arashina are like. Um, so between those two things and the history of time and the Tales of the Emergence, I
Mhm.
have a series that I've been kicking around for probably about 15 years now, and it started as a book, but and this is before I ever started writing series, so it's just like this, to me it was like this would make a really cool story, you know what I mean?
Right?
And it involves the zodiac and
Ooh.
reincarnation, and it's like your soul is born as an Aries, and it matures with each. You get 12 physical lives. It matures with each life, and you die as a Pisces.
Oh
And
wow.
then after the Pisces physical life, that's when your soul is judged based on everything you've done through all 12 lives. And
Oh, that's cool.
because I rationalized it because I've always been obsessed with any kind of mythology, and zodiac is a big chunk of that. And if you look at the characteristics, starting at Aries of each zodiac sign kind of goes through the same phases that you go through in your life. Like Aries are really impulsive, they want immediate satisfaction, they don't take no crap. And then Taurus is like really stubborn, like teenagers and everything. And then as you go up to Pisces, they're really, usually reserved, and they listen twice as much as they speak. And I looked at it, I was like, that seems like a human life cycle to me. And I just kind of started kicking around the idea, and I told one of my coworkers about it one time, and he was a devout Catholic his entire life. And he came back to work the next week, and he said he went to his last confession and told his boss that he renounced he told him he renounced his faith. And I was like, what?
Oh.
And I was like, dude, no, go back. Like, please don't do that because of this crazy idea. This or other. He said, no, dude, it made sense. And I was like, well, whatever you're on, share it because,
That
but
wasn't
no,
what it was meant to do.
that
Yeah.
was I just wanted to see what you thought of the story, man. And yeah, his parents got really mad at me. Um
Oh wow.
and that's why I quit kicking the ideas around for stories for a while there. I was like, I'm not writing anything like that is insane.
Oh my God.
Change a person's whole faith. That's
Mm.
so yeah.
Yeah, I'm like not even meaning to, just talking passionately about
Wow.
a story that I wanted to maybe write one day. And they're like, what do you
That
think of
is
this premise? And yeah, apparently it resonated with them.
wow.
Wow. Yeah, I'd definitely say
Unintentional
yeah,
consequences, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Right. Right. Wow. Yeah, well, I love the whole idea. I think it sounds really cool. I've never read anything like that. So,
Well, if
yeah,
anybody
I'm
writes
really
that before
interested
me
on that
now,
one.
like just give me a shout out in the acknowledgement section because that'll be 2030s at least before I even start working on it. But
Well, no, you got so many projects on the burner here that you might just become uber prolific and get it
well,
going.
we
Yeah, it sounds
I've been sick. I've been I do side work occasionally now. We had a buddy of ours, actually the guy that wrote the Hiroshima game, move in with us, and because he want
very
him
cool.
and my wife and my son and my parents, everybody wants me to be a full time writer. And when I was working full time, I
Nice.
random ambulance trips to the hospital, and then if I didn't have that, I came home exhausted, too exhausted to even think, much less write.
Right.
And so you're going to stay here, park in front of this computer, and you're going to make things happen, and we're going to handle the rest. I was like, I'm not going to argue with you.
Well, that's
Nope.
amazing that you have that support system
Oh,
because
I'm
a
lucky.
lot of people do not,
Oh
and it
yeah, I
makes it
know.
rough.
And
Yeah.
Mhm.
it's hard because I've worked my entire life. And that's just what that's who I've always been. I get up, I go to work, I handle that, I come home and do whatever.
Right.
And now it's like I get up and my commute to work is the 3 steps from my bed to my desk.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like I
Well,
have to
that
make
was
a
me.
detour to get breakfast.
Yeah.
You know what?
I can relate because I was a nurse for over 2 decades. So, yeah, and then when my body said no more, yeah, and then I joined this whole lovely new world here. Yeah,
This is a great place for people like us, ain't it?
it is. It is. It's like it's a great place to retire, ha ha. But it's not. But you're doing you're in the world that you love. You're
Yeah.
with like-minded individuals because we have conversations that nobody outside of our box here, nobody is going to understand what we're talking about, right? And they're
Mhm.
going to look at us like, "What are you talking about? What? What?"
And one thing I've
You
learned is
know?
how to carefully phrase my Google searches because
Yeah.
I was toying with the idea of something like, how could you take the internet out of the entire world and how would it affect the modern world if that happened? Like just wake up one day and no internet. And
Ooh.
I got some interesting phone calls about it. I was like, dude, look at the rest of my Google history. I write stuff. That's what I do. I was just looking up information. Oh, and I learned not to toy with that too much. But yeah,
Wow.
Well,
Yeah, that's what I said that I'm sure the FBI is looking at all of our Google searches. I know they're they're
oh
they're
yeah.
definitely watching me. I know that because, well, my interest into true crime and serial killers, and yeah,
Mhm.
so I know they're looking into my.
oh yeah. Like I'm just waiting on the day my wife gets tired of me because if I disappear, they're not going to be able to trace it to her.
That's it. That's it. I know things. That's right. We know things.
That's true. Yeah.
Steven's always like, "Oh boy." I told him the other night, I said, I really if the tables were turned, I really would be scared sleeping next to me every night. I really would. He's like, "I ain't scared."
Well, I
But
already
yeah,
conceded
yeah.
back in the '90s about being on a list because yeah, researching for my novels and all
Oh
the deep
yeah.
dives I do on military aspects and this and that and the other. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean it's
Good
yeah, I
old
knew I was
research.
and just
and
praying that
then
that yeah that whoever's looking into it would just notice. Oh, he's an author.
Yep.
that's
and
the that's
in
sort
the
of the
'90s, I was just trying to stay off of the detention list, man. Like
yeah.
I, I I wasn't even out of middle school when we were when Y2K was about to happen. We threw a big party and it was the only time that my parents ever let me drink, but because they were, oh, the world's gonna end here, you might as well. I'm like, okay, 12:01. I'm like, can I still drink? No, no, you can't. We're still here. But
Nice.
That's fun. So where are you going to be next where
Yeah.
people
Schedule.
can sign your
Mhm.
books, buy your books, and talk to you?
the
Sure.
only
Yeah.
conventions I have this year are LibertyCon and Imaginarium.
Hmm.
And it's just because of, moving, doing everything we need to for the house, and um still handling kids, me being sick, that hit us a little hard, and we're pulling out of that now. But I made commitments for LibertyCon and Imaginarium, and it's not commitments like I feel obligated to go. I am going come hell or high water. I was having conversations about, I will sell you my truck if you'll like give me the money now and wait till the end of July. But then fortunately I found some side work. So
Well, we can't wait to see you, and yet
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
you definitely have to come to karaoke now, and
Oh
yeah,
Yes.
well,
wind down after a day of paneling.
you make the schedule, so just make sure I'm free while it's going
I will too.
on.
Nice.
Yeah,
And
I'm working on them as we speak. I'm working on
yes,
them.
it's a lot. Yeah. Yeah. Especially with all the surveys pouring in right now. But
Yeah.
yeah, and KB was one of the quick ones too.
Yes,
He was one of the
I
ones that
said
got one right
KB
back.
is on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
He was.
I was looking for it, but I have my email set up to come through like text messages, because the email that you guys have, that's only used for book related things,
Uh-huh.
conventions, anything they have to send me for,
Mhm.
editing and all that.
Right.
Right.
So I always want to make sure I stay on that. So I was scrolling through TikTok with my wife, and then it popped up, panel survey, and I was like, let's go ahead and handle that.
Holly's on it.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I didn't want to, like last year I got in kind of late, and I didn't notice the survey for a while, and then I was like, okay, so I just clicked on what I could, and I was like, hopefully I can get on something, and I you know got on some pretty good panels last year, and I still had time to go sit in on the ones that I was interested in, to learn things, because I was
Right.
still very much a baby author, and I had a lot of fun last year. There's a good balance of being on panels versus getting to see panels, and
Oh yeah.
especially because I was exhausted the whole time, because the medicine they had me on at the time. I'd do a panel,
Hmm.
I'd see a panel, and then I'd go take a nap, and then I'd wake up and do it again.
Oh
And
wow.
I uh I was asleep. I fell asleep during the Horrors Against Humanity one, because I was having a blast. But I fell asleep, and then I woke up when you sat in front of me, and I was like, "Wait a minute, is that Holly? Oh, I'm too
Yes,
Yeah,
tired. I
it.
that's
can't. I'm
her.
not.
All that hair.
It's like I'm
Yeah.
not even gonna say anything. I was like, because I'm gonna tap her shoulder and then fall asleep again, and then
Yep.
I'm unfortunately not on that medicine anymore, so I don't have to worry about that this year. But it,
Well,
it was a struggle last
I'll say
year.
I'll keep an eye on you and make sure you ain't falling asleep. I'll come to you.
Right.
Hey,
Uh,
hey, KB. Hey.
no,
Yeah.
I'm good this year. I got I'm coming Thursday. I'm leaving Monday. I won't be exhausted from a drive and on medication and stuff, and
Oh heck
Perfect.
yeah.
so
Yeah.
this year is going to be a lot. You're going to see a lot more of me out and mingling with people this year than last year.
Oh, fantastic!
Well,
Because
hey,
networking is so
Holly,
important.
he's leaving
Oh yeah.
Monday, so you should
I
hop
heard
aboard with
that.
us
So you're going
for the
troll
troll
pubbing,
pub.
right?
He'll
You're
go to
Oh,
the
going
troll.
troll pubbing.
Gonna go troll pubbing with us.
absolutely.
Yes.
I'll
The
drive because I
ultimate
don't drink.
Imaginarium
So,
tradition.
Yes.
but no, yeah, I hated that we couldn't stay last year. But my mom came with us last year because she was like, "You're up for an award. I'm going." My mom gave up her
Oh,
LibertyCon
cool.
tickets so she could come to Imaginarium, because she only has a certain amount of time she can use every summer, and
Right. Right.
she gave up her LibertyCon tickets to come to Imaginarium just
Wow.
because my book was a finalist, and then when I won, she was back there. Told everybody before I even got
Oh,
back to my
wow.
seat.
I
I didn't
didn't
even
know
get a
that.
chance
I
to
didn't
tell.
know that story. Wow. I did
Yeah, by
not
the
know that
time I
happened.
got back to sit down, like I was going to tell people, and she's like, "I already told them. I already told them. I already
Oh
texted him."
wow.
And I was like, "Do I get to tell anybody?" She's like, "You can tell
Oh,
Chris." And I was like, "Okay, thanks."
that is great. Oh my God,
Oh,
that's
that's great
awesome.
to have someone like that in your corner. I'm telling you,
Oh
because
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. A lot of people don't, and that
I
makes
told
life miserable.
I told him I was like, I'm a 38-year-old man showing up to a convention with his mama because baby might get a prize.
Hey, no, I get it. That's awesome, man.
No,
That is so cool.
my mom
Yeah,
was a huge part of our lives. That's one of the
yeah.
reasons we wanted to move back down to this part of the state, and I wanted to be close to all of my family. But she was really excited for that, and it was during a time where she only got to see us 2 or 3 times a year because it was a 3-hour drive one way, and she was
Mhm.
super excited for it. So and I was happy she was there because she made me behave. But this year I'm unsupervised, so y'all got to watch out.
That's me
Oh,
most Saturday nights. Well, yeah, Friday and Saturday night at Imaginarium, I'm unsupervised because, yeah,
I got,
Steven don't even see me. He don't know where he
I
just goes
got
to bed. And he's like, I'm
what
going to bed. She'll
what
be
he
in
means
sometime.
is last year KB was like a Mogwai. This year he's like the gremlin
The
after midnight.
Gremlin, yes.
And so if I'm not invited back in 2026, I will understand, but I will be
I
upset.
I have a hunch that yeah, of course you will
Oh,
be.
I think you'll be
All
just
right.
fine.
Yeah, I think you'll be just fine.
Weird things happen at night. Let me tell you, funny things happen. It's so funny. We have
Yeah.
a lot of fun. That's what said that it's so cool with Imaginary because it's such a safe, inclusive environment, and it's so great to network and be with like-minded individuals, and you learn all day, and you get to chit chat, and then at night we just have a ball. We
Uh,
Mhm.
absolutely have a ball.
I'll tell you what, I made sure I sat in that Scrivener class last year because
Yeah,
that's what I used. I was like, if I can learn tricks and then that class is like I can make, character profiles, location profiles, taught us how to organize it, and it
Mhm.
turned it up to 11 for me. And I was like, this is awesome. So I lost about 3 weeks just playing with Scrivener after I got back because I was like, ooh, what else can I do? Ooh, what else can I
Yeah,
do?
gonna do nice. Very
And
cool.
yeah,
yeah. The people I know that use it are they
Mhm.
cannot say enough praising about it. Now, I've never
Mhm.
fooled with it, but I would like to look into it because I know people love it
Mhm.
once they start it.
the reason I got it was because I was, I posted a survey asking what people used to write, why they liked it,
Yeah.
what was good about it, if there was any flaws, if they could change something, what would it be, just to kind of get a feel. And everybody, ADHD, Scrivener, Scatterbrain, Scrivener, Corkboard, Scrivener. I was like, let me try this, and then I got on. I was like, this works. I could, and I had Ulysses for a while. I like Ulysses too because I could type on my phone and it syncs up with my computer, like without me
Right.
having to do any extra steps. But the only thing I don't like about that one is the same thing I don't like about modern gaming or modern TV. It's a subscription,
Right.
and it always seems to hit at the wrong time, so it costs $35 extra a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Mhm.
it's like it's only $10. Yeah, well, that $10 turns into 45 on a Wednesday instead of a Thursday. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
so that's Scrivener. You buy it, it's done, it's there forever until they upgrade, and then you're like, well, guess I got to upgrade now. But when I upgraded, it was free this time. I don't know how many times I get free upgrades, but
Mhm.
But for now,
um,
yeah. For
yeah,
now,
for
it's
now I
free.
got an upgrade for free, and I was like, that's cool, thank you.
What's
But
great when you find something that is cost effective and that you can work with.
so yeah,
Mhm.
this year, sorry, I got off topic. That's going to happen a lot. This year, like I said, Imaginarium, Liberty Con are my only two conventions. If you're in
Okay.
the Midlands of South Carolina, I will be making some library appearances in the Lexington libraries, which I will post about once I have dates. And I'm working on something with that bookstore, but I don't want to. That'll be on
Mhm.
my Facebook or Instagram, X, Blue Sky, whatever.
Yeah.
I'll post it on all that too. So, um,
Well, that's my next question. Is
Yep.
yeah, where can people find you? And if
uh,
you want to give handles and websites and all that good stuff.
if you go to my website, all of my social medias are linked at the bottom. So whichever one you use, you can add me on. It's kbcarlisle.com. Should be
Hmm.
easy to remember. But
kbcarlisle.com. All
I
right.
made a website for the sole purpose of not having to list out all the socials.
Right.
Don't blame you.
Oh,
Yeah.
believe. Oh God. Yeah, I know your pain. I'm on a ton of them. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
like I
it's.
said, I actively avoided them until I needed them. Like
Mm,
I had Facebook for memes, and that was it.
mm,
And that's all I ever
Me
did.
yeah.
too.
And now it's
And now
Facebook, Threads, Blue Sky, LinkedIn.
that's it. I have a
Instagram.
whole
Da-da,
folder
da-da,
that's
da-da,
nothing
da-da.
but social media, and
Right. Yeah.
turn
Oh
the
man.
icons off on. Like, it sends you the notifications, don't have the icons. You got
Yep.
47 messages, notification. No, mine doesn't do that. I look at it when I have time to focus on it.
That's
And
it.
other than
That's
that,
the way to do
uh,
it.
I never thought that would be my life.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, it
That's
gets
good.
busy real quick.
Yeah, we try to always preach compartmentalizing it, otherwise it'll invade everything.
Yeah.
I have to
It's
set a
just too much to
timer.
keep up.
I have to set a timer because if I don't set a timer, I'll check. I'll wake up and look at it, and then I'm like, oh, okay, everybody's home now.
Mhm.
I just killed 7 hours.
Yep.
Uh-huh. Yep.
So
Yeah.
so
Well,
every
I
time
can
I even
relate.
open one, so,
It's the squirrels because
yeah,
well Stephen watches me, with my ADHD and my 30 tabs open, but if I get zoned in, oh man, it's fire, and then I work on like 30 things at once. I got every and I'll start pounding with stuff, be like, "Hey, I need you to do this and this. I need this information on this and this." Totally different, and I'll just he says, "Listen, one thing at a time. What?
Mhm.
You're getting me all confused because poor Steven, he's a one track. He
yeah.
focuses on
Mm,
he zeroes in on one thing and does, and
well,
that's how
one. That's right.
that's how
You got
most people's
you
brains
gotta
are.
have that. You gotta have that balance. You know.
You
Yeah.
do, you do, and our
However,
ADH brains have no balance. Our
uh,
brains just go from
however,
one to
my
another.
laptop currently has 29 tabs open though,
You
so
do,
Well,
yes,
you
but
have a
my
lot of
brain
work to be
does
doing right
so.
now. You know what I mean?
I'm not. That's not even exaggeration. I
No, he
literally have
does.
29 tabs open on my laptop
Yeah.
right now.
I this
But
time of year I'm using my phone and two computers at the table.
yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
yeah,
That's no joke.
it's.
But yeah, it's the squirrels. That's the only way to
Yep.
explain it.
they
I have to
You'll
keep
be
it's
talking
just
to us. We're talking
Yep.
about gold, and the next thing, we're talking about what soups we like. So yeah,
Yeah.
speaking of gold. I heard Uganda like found 31 tons or something. I don't know. Like apparently that's a big
Oh,
thing.
well,
that'd
I
be
See,
sure
that's
crazy.
would
the
like to find.
squirrels.
I would like to find just a pound worth
Yeah,
of gold.
right.
That'd be, yeah.
No kidding. Good God, that's a whole story in itself.
Yes, it is. But
Gee,
yeah, but I definitely tonight has been great. Yeah, I guess we're gonna
my phone.
have to kind of round out tonight, but we had a great time with you tonight, and definitely want you back in the future. So
Oh yeah.
stay prolific. Yeah, so
Let's
because you can
say
come back and tell us about all kinds of cool stuff next time on.
I have nothing going on. This is my job
Yeah.
now. So if y'all ever need a slot filled, just let me know.
Well, that's going to happen for
Fantastic.
sure. Now we'll see you in person next month, but
Yep.
want to thank you for being on the show tonight. You were great, yeah, tonight, and really enjoyed having you.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you guys let me come on. I've been wanting to message you for a while, and I was like, no, no, that's that whole side of me that
Yeah,
the introvert side. I was like, no, they did. I didn't even
What-
get a chance to talk to them last year. They don't know
yeah.
who I am.
And
Yeah,
then you
we
found
do.
out
Yes,
how
we do.
hard we are to
Yes.
deal with, how difficult
Oh
we are
yeah,
to
we're
deal with.
so tough. Yeah. No, we are
Yeah,
the you text either one of us anytime.
Yeah,
Anytime. No, we're
anytime.
always available. I might not get right back to you, but I will get back
Yep,
to you.
yeah,
that happens
eventually,
to
right?
me. Yeah, sometimes the
No,
message
Yep,
box fills up quick, but
I
yeah,
just
but
told you I leave my
keep at us.
notifications
Yeah,
off, so I get it.
that's it.
yeah, yeah,
That's it.
keep it.
Yep.
But so yeah, just keep at us. But yeah, we'll always want to help out. But
Oh heck
I'll
yeah.
turn it over to Holly to wrap it up with you. But thanks so much for being on tonight, KB.
Yes,
It's
sir.
been great.
Yes, thank you, and we'll see you in a few weeks. And hey, people, check out his books at Imaginarium and get them signed
And leave
right,
reviews.
and leave reviews. That's the best thing you can do for an author, and it don't cost anything. Leave reviews. Yes, very much so. But
Oh yeah.
thank you for being a great guest, and we will see you in a few weeks.
Yes, man. I'll see you there.
Good night, KB. All right. out there in the lovely listener land. Join us next Wednesday, same place, same time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. Another great guest, another great chat. Until then, be creative. Good night, all.